And even if he's a lazy man, and the dude was most certainly that, quite possibly the laziest in Los Angeles County, which would place him high in the running for laziest worldwide. But sometimes there's a man. Sometimes.
The Big Lebowski starts with 2 minutes of pointless narration, and then you see the dude walking around a grocery store in a bathrobe, flip-flops, and sunglasses. He writes a check for 69 cents to buy milk, and then he comes home to find two goons waiting to swirly the shit out of him. They beat him up for a little bit and piss on his rug before realizing that they must have the wrong guy because they're supposed to be looking for a rich guy. The first 5 minutes of this movie have been almost perfect. I think we could have completely cut out the narration, but that's the only critique that I have. Not a single line of pointless dialogue is spoken outside of the narration. Now we get our opening credits, and it's revealed that The Big Lebowski is actually a bowling movie. For those who don't know, bowling was the biggest participatory sport in the United States for a long time. If you're from the Midwest especially, there's a high likelihood that you grew up bowling with your family and maybe even competed in a school league. I grew up in Flint, Michigan, and everyone in my family worked at the local bowling alley at one point or another. We all had our own bowling ball, and some of my cousins were really competitive in the high school scene. My point to saying this is that while bowling may not seem like a big deal now, in the past, it was one of the most popular pastimes for the American family. And when you get Bob Dylan playing over these opening credits and the bowling alley, you can't help but feel the nostalgia.
Well, they were looking for you, these two guys.
I'll say it again. You told Brandt on the phone. He told me. I know what happened. Yes?
Oh, so you know that they were trying to piss on your rug?
Did I urinate on your rug?
After getting hyped up by John Goodman and Steve Buscemi, the dude goes to confront Mr. Lebowski about his rug. He tries to explain that these thugs were actually trying to piss on Mr. Lebowski's rug. Therefore, Mr. Lebowski should compensate the dude for this aggression. Mr. Lebowski is not about that life and tells the dude to go get a job and quit being a bum. I think what makes this movie so great is how the dude is the definition of not overacting. He's just a dude. He's a chill guy. He's living his life while everybody else overacts around him. But not in a cringy way. They're overacting in a cartoonish way, almost like anime characters.
Cynthia's dog. I think it's a Pomeranian. I can't leave him home alone or he eats the furniture. I'm watching it while Cynthia and Marty Ackerman are in Hawaii.
You brought a fucking Pomeranian bowling?
Brought it bowling. I didn't rent its shoes. I'm not buying it a fucking beer. He's not taking your fucking turn, dude.
Man, if my fucking ex-wife asked me to take care of her fucking dog while she and her boyfriend went to Honolulu, I'd tell her to go fuck herself. Why can't you board it?
First of all, dude, you don't have an ex. Secondly, this is a fucking show dog with fucking papers. You can't board it, it gets upset.
Hey,
its
man.
hair falls out.
Walter.
Fucking
no.
dog has fucking papers. Over the line!
We gotta talk about John Goodman. This guy's fucking hilarious. Every single line he delivers in this movie is a banger. This guy overacted his ass off. This exchange with the dog is so funny, but what follows when Smokey fouls his turn is so iconic in cinema that you could be forgiven for not remembering this hilarious dialogue about the dog.
Huh?
I'm sorry, Smokey. You were over the line. That's a foul.
Bullshit. Mark at 8, dude.
Excuse me. Mark at 0. Next frame.
Bullshit, Walter. Mark at 8, dude.
Smokey, this is not Nam. This is bowling. There are rules.
Hey, Walter, come on. It's just, hey, man, it's Smokey, so his toe slipped over a little, you know? It's just a game, man.
This is a league game. This determines who enters the next round robin. Am I wrong?
Yeah, but I wasn't...
Am I wrong?
Yeah, but I wasn't over. Give me the marker, dude. I'm marking an 8.
Smokey, my friend, you're entering a world of pain.
Walter, man.
You mark that frame an 8, you're entering a world of pain.
I'm not...
A world of pain.
Look, dude, this is your partner.
Has the whole world gone crazy? Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules? Mark at 0.
They're calling the cops, man. Put the piece away.
Mark at 0.
Walter, put the piece away.
Walter?
You think I'm fucking around here? Mark at 0.
All right, it's fucking 0. You happy, you crazy fuck?
It's a league game, Smokey.
Mr. Lebowski, Brandt again. Please do call us as soon as you get in and I'll send the limo. I hope you're not avoiding this call because of the rug. Which I assure you is not a problem. We need need your help, and, well, we would very much like to see you. Thank you. It's Brant.
Mr. Lebowski calls the dude back to his home because the people who pissed on the dude's rug came and kidnapped Mrs. Lebowski. They want the dude to be the courier for the ransom money to get Mrs. Lebowski back. They promise the dude $20,000 and give him a pager. I find it absolutely hilarious that I'm gonna have to unironically explain what a pager is. A pager was a little device that people would carry on them. It had a little screen and people could send you very brief text messages. Usually it would be a phone number for you to call somebody at. Before cell phones were accessible to the general public, you could page somebody and they could go to a landline to call you back. A woman who we later find out is Mr. Lebowski's daughter comes to the dude's house with a couple guys, knocks him out, and takes his rug.
Mr. Lebowski asked me to repeat that. Her life is in your hands.
He wakes up from this with the pager beeping and goes to pick up the money from Mr. Lebowski to give to the kidnappers. They give strict instructions for the dude to come alone, so naturally, he brings John Goodman along and John Goodman fucks everything up. Instead of giving the kidnappers the ransom money, John Goodman wants to give them a bag full of dirty laundry and keep the money. The movie logic is that these guys are betting on Mrs. Lebowski having kidnapped herself. They think that she's scamming her husband because he doesn't give her enough allowance. This plan goes to shit whenever the kidnappers call and tell the dude to throw the bag out of the moving car, which ruins John Goodman's plan of beating Mrs. Lebowski's location out of her kidnappers. Always adapting just how he learned in Vietnam, John Goodman throws the fake money out of the window and then bails out of the car to double back on the kidnappers. Somehow this doesn't work out. He drops his gun, which starts shooting randomly, and the dude crashes the car immediately after John Goodman bails out. The kidnappers take off on sport bikes and the whole plan goes out the window.
Hey, this is a private residence, man. Oh, nice marmot.
Mr. Lebowski tells the kidnappers that the dude has their money. So these German guys come in and turn a ferret loose on the dude while he's taking a bath. But the problem is that the dude's car got stolen right after the handoff went down. They went to the bowling alley and when they came out, the car was gone. The police eventually recover the car, but the briefcase was gone. When the dude asked if the police had any leads on who might have stolen the car, the cops give this response.
Are you gonna find these guys, or you got any promising leads or?
Leads? Yeah, sure. I'll just check with the boys down at the crime lab. They got 4 more detectives working on the case. They got us working in shifts. Leads.
The dude sees somebody trailing him and he ends up crashing his car. This works out though because it leads him to finding evidence that would lead to the car thief. He ends up finding the homework of a 15-year-old boy. They go to his house and try to strong-arm this kid into giving them the money.
To see what happens when you fuck a stranger there. That's what happens.
When this doesn't work, John Goodman goes out and starts smashing up a brand new Corvette that they assumed the kid had bought. And you know what happens when you assume? It just makes an ass out of you and me. Turns out, this was not the kid's car, and they end up leaving in defeat.
Pin your diapers on, Lebowski. Jackie Treehorn wants to see you.
Jackie Treehorn knows which Lebowski you are, Lebowski.
Jackie Treehorn wants to see the deadbeat Lebowski.
You're not dealing with morons here.
The 2 rug pissers from the beginning of the movie come back and reveal that their boss, Jackie Treehorn, wants to see the dude. Jackie doesn't believe that Mrs. Lebowski was kidnapped, and he thinks that the dude knows where she is. Jackie is the person she owes money to, which is why the 2 rug pissers came looking for Mr. Lebowski at the beginning of the movie. Jackie ends up drugging the dude, which leads to the police picking him up while he's running down the street. The police beat the shit out of the dude and tell him to stay out of Malibu.
Man, come on, I had a rough night and I hate the fucking Eagles, man. Ow, man! Hey! Man, hey!
I support the driver. You better take the bass out of your voice when you speak about the Eagles, but this does make for a funny transition to Mrs. Lebowski speeding by in a convertible with all 10 toes attached. One place the Big Lebowski really falls short in my opinion is landing the plane. It's like they spent so much time in the movie doing goofy shit that when it came time to wrap the story up, the movie just kind of vomits the conclusion out all at once. The toe that was mailed to Mr. Lebowski turned out to belong to the girlfriend of the German guy. When Mrs. Lebowski turns back up, they explain it away by saying she just went to visit friends. They don't really dig any deeper than that. Mrs. Lebowski is home and the money had never actually left Mr. Lebowski's possession in the first place.
Without a hostage, there is no ransom. That's what ransom is. Those are the fucking rules.
His girlfriend gave up her toe.
She thought we'd been getting $1 million.
It's not fair.
Fair? Who's the fucking nihilist around here, you bunch of fucking crybabies?
John Goodman and the dude get confronted outside of the bowling alley by the German guys. They let the German guys know that they didn't actually kidnap Mrs. Lebowski. A fight ensues, and for some reason, Steve Buscemi has a heart attack? They use this plot point to transition to them spreading Steve Buscemi's ashes in the ocean.
Sometimes you eat the bar, and sometimes, hey, man.
They come back to the bowling alley for the finals of the bowling tournament, and that's the end of the movie. The Big Lebowski has a pretty good story, but it has a much better beginning and middle than it does end. So much of what happens in this movie is just a series of funny scenes without the most coherent story. There's so many moments that you could cut out of this movie and it wouldn't change the story at all. I'm not saying I have a better alternative for how they could have landed the plane. I am saying that the ending of The Big Lebowski has always felt off to me. It's like all this stuff happens and at the end you get Lonesome Dove breaking the fourth wall and staring right into your eyes and saying, yup, that's what happened. That's the story. That's the end of it. Fade to black. And you're just left like, what the fuck? Is that the end of the story? It feels like there's more story to this story, but no, that is in fact the end of the story. All that being said, this is easily one of my favorite movies out of all the movies. Almost every character in this movie is tip-top, particularly John Goodman. He's so funny with his outbursts. The Big Lebowski is such a banger that it's a wonder that they haven't tried to make a sequel or a remake over the last 20-something years since it's been released. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Go ahead and comment something funny down below if you want to help me in my existential battle with the algorithm. See you in the next video, guys.